Crowdfunding is a really interesting thing. People love it, people hate it, and I love crowdfunding projects, especially things that make 3D printing easier and more fun, more accessible for the average person. And today, I just backed a brand new crowdfunding project on MakerWorld that allows you to turn any image that you have into a really cool fidget that uses keycaps, and it makes it, and then you can print it, and then it's super cool. And I know everyone's going to hate me because my camera can't zoom on the thing. Anyways, we're gonna dive into it. Let's get it. Well, what is up, guys? My name is Vic here with 3D Prints by Vic, and today we're going to be looking at a cool crowdfunding project that I found on MakerWorld. Now, this thing exploded in popularity, and so more than likely, you've already heard of it, you've already seen it, and today we're going to get to dive into it just a little bit, and it is called ClickerFactory. Now, ClickerFactory is a web-based software that allows you to upload a picture, and then you can turn it into a really cool clicking fidget that I just dropped on my table. Really easy. Like, it was so simple to use it and send it to my printer. So today I'm going to walk you through the full workflow. We're just going to go kind of start to finish. I'm not a pro at this, and so if there's anything I miss or there's anything that you're like, Victor, you got to try that, let me know down in the comments below. Without further ado, let's dive in. Here's what it says. Welcome to ClickerFactory. Before you start, take a minute to complete this short tutorial. This is basically going to give you everything that you need to know before you load in your first image. So avoid pictures, avoid gradients, avoid overly detailed images. Does any of this sound familiar? It's very HueForge-esque in its tips, even though you can use gradients and shading and all that stuff inside of HueForge. So we're gonna click next. And then this is an example here. It gives you, okay, this is the picture of a dog, but this is probably what it should look like. And they give you a nice tip saying you can use AI to turn the photo into a simplified cartoon version, which you can totally do. ChatGPT, Claude, all those things do that incredibly well. Avoid gradients and soft shading. This one will trick most people, especially here on the edge. You definitely want to avoid that. I've learned my lesson the hard way inside of HueForge. And then avoid overly detailed images. This one is very detailed. Obviously, that kind of speaks for itself. You want to reduce the number of colors inside of an image. You can also use AI to do that. You also don't want like 3D renders. You see how the curves here are kind of beveled? You don't want to do that. You want very flat images right there. And then obviously you can use AI to help you with all that. Avoid low quality images, definitely similar to HueForge. Don't be dragging in low quality pictures, and then you can join the Discord there. So, okay, so we're here inside of the Create Your Clicker menu, and I'm just gonna drag in a Carolina Hurricanes logo because they won the Stanley Cup this year, and I'm not happy for them, but I'm glad they did it. And this is an interesting dark mode, very, very dark pink, kind of. I kind of like it. We're going to click continue, and it's going to walk us through a couple of different things. Now, we have the original that we can keep. We can crop it to a square, or we can crop it to a circle. I'm going to keep it original, and we're going to click remove background. Hopefully, this will just take out the background of this image, and perfect. Sometimes background removers like this will remove the white there inside, and so in this case it did not, so that was perfect. We're going to click continue. Now it's going to do some fancy financial footwork to our image and vectorize it. We'll get two different options, a logo option and a smooth option. I think I'm going to go logo option. I mean, this is a logo. You can kind of zoom in here and see, you know, all the different things. There's no way to, like, I guess you could click that and drag it around, but no keybind for that. Awesome. So this looks good to me. I have no qualms with it. I'm gonna hit continue. And now we have our colors. We have gray, white, red, and black. That's perfect if you have an AMS for colors. Now, if there was more than 4 colors, you can reduce the amount of colors that you want to print with, or you can group similar colors. And that's what I ended up doing here on this Nezuko fidget that I made. There was like a dark beige shadow, and I just merged that with beige, and we called it a day. I'm gonna click confirm there. And now we have our image inside of this canvas. Now, for the sake of our video, I'm just going to make this larger. And we have, like, I believe this is the base where the clicker goes, and then this is our image that will slot in right there. Now, because of my aspect ratio, I can't show you both sides, so I'm gonna drag it just like this a little bit. Okay, so you see the sidebar. Now, this is going to edit the options, or the, you know, this base option for our clicker. And so I'm going to click this, and what that's going to do is it's going to snap it to the size, since this is not a perfect square or star or anything like that. It's going to snap it to the size of our logo here in the middle. I'm just going to kind of drag it there. And if we come into the 3D editor, it's going to load up, and we're going to be able to see, okay, this base fits in kind of perfectly with our fidget. We can even see, if we come in here, we can move this up and see kind of what we are working with. It would be really cool if in the future you could put extra like clickers in it. So this one could have like 2 or 3. You could segment it. I don't know if that's coming, but that would be a cool feature. Okay, so we're gonna put that back down. Okay. And then we're going to come back to 2D editor. Now there are a couple of settings that I like to play around with, as I've played around with just a couple of different options here. But on the top we have artwork and stroke, and then on the bottom we have base shelf and mechanism outline. So think of the top as the actual picture, the thing, like the Nezuko here, that we're printing. And then think of the bottom as the base that holds the keycap inside of it, or the clicker. The switch, that's what they're called. All right, so inside of the artwork, we have our colors. We can click edit colors and come in and play with them here. You can add a color, you can take a color away, you can assign different colors to different places. You can highlight different colors. If I wanted to make this red, I could. You shouldn't do that because that's not how the logo is, but you can make those edits if you want to. You hit confirm and it will update. Base shape is going to be this size. So if I drag this around, you can see that number over here on the right hand side adjusts and changes, and that's because we're just changing the size of our image here. And you can see that kind of update there as we play around with it. Then we have base shelf, and this is going to be the size of the underlying piece, but because we have them snapped to custom, we're not going to be able to, it's not going to adjust in the same way as it would if we just had it on square. If we had it on square, we could come in here and adjust it kind of however we want, and you'll see that number update as we drag this around. But since we're on this custom size, we can adjust the size, but it's just going to adjust the entire piece, not the base portion of it. And we have mechanism outline. I haven't played around too much with this, and so if you guys know exactly what it does or have played around with it, you can let me know down in the comments. Awesome. 3D editor is the same exact thing here. You can add a keychain, which is super cool. So if I click this, then I can come up here and I can kind of add a spot. Now, just to note, this is not adding a hook. I know when I was first playing around with this, I thought it was adding a hook, and it's not. It's adding a negative part. So if I come in here, you can see that this kind of circle spot has been added to our piece. And so when this prints, there will be a hole on our model here, and we can look at this in the slicer in just a little bit. But we'll see that will create a spot where we could put a keychain in the future, but this will not print an extra thing for us to put a keychain around. It will make a hole in our model. When we like it, we can just click apply, and it will apply it. Awesome. Cool. When we're ready, we're just going to hit export, and it's going to do some things. It's going to download it. This is optimized for Bambu-Lab, and so if you're running a different slicer or doing different things, just know that this is optimized for Bambu-Lab, and it is noted that way inside of the update or the crowdfunding on MakerWorld. It tells you that there as well. So we're going to open this up. It's going to take just a couple of seconds. Then just like that, we are loaded into Bambu-Lab, and you can see that we have our fidget right here, ready to go. So it will print in 2 different pieces. It's going to print this, and then it's going to print this. And, you know, printing these side by side like this is going to take a decent amount of time just because of all the color swaps. If you really wanted to be, you know, business-minded about it and keep it, you know, as optimized as possible, you might do something like this, where you put, you know, several. I'll just do 4, for example. You can fit more if you wanted to. You do 4 there, and then you would print these bases on a separate plate. And this would be how you could keep it as optimized as possible. But for the sake of this video, we're not going to do that. I need that base. Okay, perfect. We're going to drag that here. Now you can see where we put that hole for our keychain. It exists right here, so you can see that right there. The perfect spot for a keychain. And then we have our top piece here. Now, I'd be curious to see how PLA, I haven't printed a ton of these. This is not my go-to kind of item that I print and sell and, you know, use. I don't do a ton of these. And so I'd be curious to see how PLA would hold up in the long term, especially if you're selling these and people are putting them on their keychains and leaving them in the car, or, you know, leaving them in a hot bag or something like that. So this might be best printed in PETG, but that's really a personal choice and one that you will have to figure out as you play around with it. And then you just slice it. I mean, it's that easy. You just slice it and then send it off to your printer. 2 hours, 19 minutes later, you will have a really cool clicker just like this. And you didn't have to do any modeling at all. I didn't open Fusion once. It was super simple, super easy, and honestly, pretty neat. Okay, well, if you want to create really cool fidgets like the Snezico is super fun. I really enjoyed it. You got your keychain spot right up there. This is a really cool print. It was really easy to do. I have my, I don't know if you can hear it, I have my clicker in there, and I have a couple more on the printers right now. They have 2 different tiers. You have the maker tier and then I believe the commercial tier. And so if you want to check it out on crowdfunding MakerWorld. This was not a paid video. This is not a sponsored video. I just thought it was a really cool tool and figured if you hadn't heard about it, you should check it out, because this is a really fun tool to be able to print really easy things very easily, very quickly. Now, if you're a 3D modeler and you're like, oh, I hate this, I get it. You put a lot of work into your models and I understand. I'm right there with you. But for a kid, you know, that wants to be able to make cool things or wants to practice, you know, playing around with a slicer and vectorizing an image, like things like this are really cool. And it makes the ease of being able to get into the hobby and get into printing significantly easier. So let me know, what are your thoughts down in the comments? Are you going to pick up a license? Are you going to play around with it? Do you hate this and wish that we would not, you know, create AI or automated tools like this? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members, to all of my YouTube members. You guys are the reason that I get to do these really cool things. And so thank you so much, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Until then, y'all, take care.